The following segment of the Sports Narrative Radio Show is brought to you by Xena Communications. Home or office, your technology problems are one click or call away from becoming a thing of the past. Ask today about a free consultation in the DFW area.
In the 20th position, I do have said Hull City. As I said, they barely advanced in a playoff, and now they've also suffered a bunch of injuries this offseason. Thank you for playing Hull City. Take your green and yellow uniforms and go back down. So there's that.
I guarantee you, they will not have 5,000 to 1 odds though.
Guy may be longer for them actually, because Leicester is at least.
They would do it again.
Yeah, I think
you
they
said
would.
last year they will never offer odds like that again.
They might not, but for a team like this to win it all, I don't know. If it was 5,000 to 1, I wouldn't put that bet down.
I don't know. No, absolutely. I'm shipping $10 to whoever I've got to ship it to put that bet down every year for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it's better than a lottery ticket.
So anyway, you've got them at the bottom. At the 19th spot, I have the other team that has come up from...
That's the EPL? You talk, I'll look.
Yeah. As Burnley, the team with the smallest budget easily in the league, I think has very little shot of advancing. It's one of those things where they're just praying they can stay up and get that money rolling in. Is just kind of where they're hoping. In the 18th spot, do you remember Bournemouth? Last year came up, kind of surprised, as that's a team that had risen from the very, very lower ranks, the Cherries from Bournemouth. I have them actually may slip. They played killer defense last year, much better than we expected, as they were, kind of a up and down team. But they actually locked it in on the defense. They get Jordan Ibe from Liverpool, as he just kind of fell out of favor there, and Liverpool's under a massive change. So I have Bournemouth as a team that may slide, although they have a chance to stay up. Maybe them more so than the next team, which in the 17th spot I have Watford. Watford. A new manager, as last season Watford was actually in contention. They were in the middle teens there for quite a bit of the year, and then they just fell into the toilet down the stretch. I think they lost 6 of their last 7 matches that just absolutely fell out, and fired the manager. They're hoping to stay up again this year, but they were in very desperate straits down the stretch for relegation after having a pretty good year. In 16, I have Sunderland. Sunderland peaked a few years ago. They've added no money since.
What team am I looking for?
You're looking for Hull City, sir.
All right, so Hull, Burnley, West, and Brom are all 1,500 to 1.
All right.
I'm guessing is what this means. It's 1,500. I'm guessing that's to 1.
Well,
Manchester City is 5 to 2, so they're probably
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So again, not 5,000 to 1.
Yep, you're right. No one will ever do that again, because I'll be damned if it didn't happen.
And who won last year?
Leicester City.
Leicester City.
They're in the middle of the pack, I'm sure.
Let's see.
I have them somewhere around 8.
I'll be damned if I can see them.
Perfect. Sunderland, again, a team that kind of...
Leicester?
Yes.
Oh, that's
pronounced
different.
Leicester.
Whatever. You could have said that. They're 28 to 1, 33 to 1 odds.
There you go. All right. As I said, Sunderland in the 16th spot. And then Swansea, a team, interestingly enough, is being bought by a U.S. investment company. Kind of these hedge fund manager guys are stepping in to buy Swansea City. But all of the money won't be there until next year. So this is going to be a year where they're basically just going to fight to stay in the top. But they've got this big money rolling in. In fact, the team just a few years ago was valued at £1 million. This investment company is going to buy them for £100 million. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then West Brom is kind of the end of the bottom tier. They're just kind of happy to be there. I think they're happy to be in the middle of the pack. They'll probably contend maybe for a little bit higher. I don't think they'll be fighting relegation so much. They're just kind of there and happy to be there. All right. Now we get to the middle section of teams. And we start with your Crystal Palace Crystal Ballers, Mr. Copening. As The boom.
Yes, sir.
The boom-bust season that was 2015 for Crystal Palace is they started off winning all of these big teams and then absolutely falling apart down the stretch again, much like Watford, almost getting themselves relegated. I think they'll level off a little bit this year. There's a lot of talk about if Liverpool lets Benteke, the Belgian striker who doesn't fit the Liverpool system at all, if they let him go, that he might go to Crystal Palace, which would be the offensive boost they need. They played great defense last year. They just couldn't score. If they could get Benteke, that might help them. But that's a team that definitely parks the bus in front of the goal and plays some defense. So I have them at 13. At 12, I have Middlesbrough, the new guys on the block. This is the first time they're in the EPL in 7 years in the top league. They spent big money. They spent £12 million this offseason acquiring various players. They're going all in on this thing. They came up and they want to stay up, and I think they will. I have them in that middle section, so I think Middlesbrough has the best chance of staying up of the three new guys. At number 11, Mr. Feltman, the Stoke City Potters.
We're at number 11?
We're at number 11.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, see? Middle of the pack.
It's like two joints next to each other, number 11. See, you just have to...
Perfect.
It's perfect.
The Potters.
Mhm.
Love it.
Of course.
They signed Joe Allen away from Liverpool.
Love that dude.
To be a nice middle
he's good in the middle.
striker. They still are very strong on defense, and again, they need scoring. They're hoping Joe Allen can kind of lead that attack. They are one of those teams that you just don't want to play because they play such strong defense. Last season, they would go and upset all of these big-name teams, and then they would lose to some of the smaller-name teams. So, again, much like Crystal Palace and probably Middlesbrough as well, they're a team that you don't want to have to play. You see in your schedule, and you're like, oh, damn it, because it's a team you should beat, but it's going to be a tough game. Now we're in the top 10. After the bottom half, we're in the top 10. Southampton is in the 10th spot. Now, they may finish further back. They had a big sell-off this year. And Southampton, again, much like these middle-tier teams, would have huge wins and then huge losses. Like, they would score 5 goals in a game, and you'd be like, where the hell did that come from? And then they would get beat 4-0. So, all over the place. They signed a 20-year-old Dane named Højbjerg. Not Fred Højbjerg. But they signed him to kind of hopefully lead their team. I have Southampton in the 10th spot. In the 9th spot is Everton. They have a new manager who they're hoping will get things back in order. Everton, being down for the last couple of years, is really hoping that they can breathe some new life in this thing. Ronald Koeman, the Dutchman, steps into the managerial spot, and basically they've got Lukaku. Another one of the...
Oh, I thought that was a bad
Excuse
thing.
me?
I was like, they got... Oh, God, where'd
Lukaku.
they catch that?
No, Lukaku.
Is that the next Zika?
He's
Son of a biscuit.
I don't think you can say that.
He's the Belgian striker who they're hoping can be a real force, although given the way he played in the Euro Cup, maybe not. And number 8, there is where I have Leicester City. They retained Jamie Vardy, but they did lose Conte. It's going to be a year. Obviously, it seems impossible. They're going to have the target on their back. It seems impossible.
Obviously they're number 1. I mean, they're the champions. Somebody's got to take the title from them, right?
You would think, but again, it's kind of one of those, when you have a team that wins it all kind of out of nowhere, and then the next year you're like, yeah, they're not doing that again.
Except
that was kind of
unless
magical.
it was the Mavericks, then we all think that they should have kept everybody and won it all, kept going.
Well, and Leicester's trying. They
Right.
kept Jamie Vardy.
We'll see what happens. If they win the title, then I will apologize to the Mavericks. There.
Absolutely.
How's that
Perfect.
for you, Dustin? We just got to have these guys win back-to-back, and I'll say you were right.
Sounds good.
The odds. Number 7, I have
Man,
West
that
Ham.
better not happen. Because you guys will not let me live. You will make a production operation out of that crap.
You will get a henna tattoo of Mavericks of Dirk Nowitzki on your big bald head. At number 7, I have West Ham. West Ham moving into a new stadium. They are moving into Olympic Stadium, 60,000 seat stadium. They are hoping that that the new stadium and the new revenue will help them out. I think this has a really good chance to be a pretty good year for West Ham. They're going to contend for the top spot. And then we've kind of hit the top end of the middle tier of teams, and that's where I have Tottenham. Tottenham last year, if you remember, was in the top 2. They were up there with Leicester City for a very long time. And then, again, at the end of the year, the bottom fell out of them. They fell out of the top, and they finished behind Arsenal, as they seemingly always do. And so that's what Tottenham has to avoid, the poor finish this year. They really need a little more depth, so they'll be looking for that. I have them in the 6th spot. Now the top 5, gentlemen.
This is what we've been waiting for.
The top 5 are the money spots. The 5th position, of course, gets the advance to the Euro Cup, and the top 4 all go into the Champions League. In the 5th spot, somewhat controversially, I have Arsenal.
Hot? What?
I know.
Why?
It's one of those things where, kind of as the predictions go right now,
higher.
People are down on them because they got turned down a bunch in free agency. They tried to go get
Turned down for what?
Boom, 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 boom. All right, there it was. Jamie Vardy turned them down from Leicester City. They had a couple other targets that they were going for that they lost. They could easily go upward. They also could be the team, much like Liverpool was last year, finishing 8th. They could be the team of the power teams that slides backwards. I think of anybody, they have the biggest range of where they could finish. They could finish 8th. They could finish, 3rd.
Gotcha.
At 4, I have my good friends here at Liverpool. I don't know if you have the camera on me or not, but
I do. Yeah, that's
perfect. Jurgen Klopp is remaking this team on the fly again for the 2nd time.
What's his name?
Jurgen Klopp.
Awesome.
They finished 8th last year. They spent big money this offseason. But the big key for Liverpool is going to be the first 10 games. They have a brutal start to the schedule, as we will discuss how this thing opens here in just a minute. But Liverpool, if they can survive the early going and they can kind of get things figured out on offense, then I think they have a real chance to make things happen. Number 3. Now, this is where things are interesting. I don't know what happened. All right. At number 3, I have Manchester United. Now, again, this is where we kind of get into the range, because I think Liverpool has a chance to finish in the top 4, but I think that I don't know that they could win it all. On the other hand, I think Manchester United is a team that could easily go ahead and win the whole damn thing. So there's that. Because they get Jose Mourinho as their new manager. Last year, the big problem for Man U was scoring goals, which is weird. For a team that normally scores a ton of goals, they only had 49 goals last year in 2015. So out goes a lot of the strikers that they had last year. In comes the old man Ibrahimovic. And now today, it finally becomes official as they sign Pogba away from Juventus for a transfer fee of 105 million euros. They will pair Pogba and Ibrahimovic with the aging Wayne Rooney, and they are going to try to score the crap out of some goals. Like I said, Man U, I have 3rd, but I could easily see them winning it all, which is unfortunate for me, but I'm not going to put them there because I don't like them. Chelsea, obviously, ridiculous year last year where they'd won it all, and then last year they damn near got relegated. They end up coming on at the end of the year. So they've got Antonio Conte now as the manager. They signed Conte away from Leicester City. They've got that front of Raheem Sterling, that's Man City. They've still got that front line. They've still got those solid defenders. Chelsea's going to be a really good team. They're going to come back quite strong, I think. And it looks like you're going to have a team that could be in contention for the top spot. But this year, and as the odds makers and Mr. Feltman will tell you, Manchester City, I think, wins it all. They've got a new manager from the Spanish League, Pep, and I have no idea how to say his damn last name, but doesn't matter. They've got Pep, much like salt and pepper. And not Pep Hamilton or It's Time to Have Pep, but Man City. I think with their new manager, it depends on how well he adapts to the English game coming from the Spanish League and having to play Real and all those kinds of teams. So I think this is a chance for Man City to take all of that talent that they've had and underperformed the last couple of years, and I will pick Man City to win it all this year, although I think between Man City and Manchester United, that will be the competition for the title.
Find more by subscribing to this channel and visiting us at www.thesportsnarrative.com. Join us every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Central for a live edition of the Sports Narrative Show, brought to you by Xena Communications and G&K Services.